everyone, it's Don once again with another video for you. Today I'm sitting here at the mail station for Lake Denham. This is right in front of the Franklin Recreation Center. In today's video, we're going to look at the village of Newell, Richmond, a few of the other areas that are under construction. We're going to look at the Eastport and Middleton area. We're also going to talk about something I mentioned in my last video. My last video I said anybody who could guess my license plate would win $50. Well, we had a winner. Don Newman won the $50 prize, and he guessed my license plate. And this is it right here. It says RCLPO. Now, what in the dickens does RCLPO stand for? Well, if you also look carefully, it also says submariner. I was in submarines for 20 years, and during that 20 years, I operated a nuclear reactor on 4 different ships. On 3 of them, I was the senior reactor operator. In the Navy, the senior man in a division is called the leading petty officer. So that would be LPO, the leading petty officer, and RC stands for reactor controls. On 3 of my 4 ships, I was the lead reactor operator for the reactor controls division, so I was the RC LPO. But enough of that. Let's get on with our video. Before we get on with this video, I'd like to do another giveaway. This time, it's going to be for another $50 for something in my logo, and I'll show it to you right here. Right there, there's a number, 12588. Now, it's not a zip code, so don't bother guessing that little town in New York. But the first person who can tell me what that means, it's something here in the villages. It's not about me, but you'll know if you've got it right. Anyway, the first person to tell me what it is wins a $50 gift card to FMK restaurants. Thanks, and let's get started. First up is the new McDonald's at the corner of Powell Road and State Route 44. It opened on December 15th at 4 p.m. I happened to see it when it was opening. I went through the drive-thru, I got myself a large Diet Coke, and I went on. And as I predicted, getting in and out of this McDonald's is a nightmare. I went by yesterday afternoon, and there was a line backed all the way up to State Route 44. It's a great location, but access really is lacking. It would have been great if this was golf cart accessible, but the way they laid out the parking lot for the emergency department makes it very difficult, if not impossible, to get over to this area by golf cart. The FDOT project to upgrade State Route 44 from the county line all the way to I-75 has definitely helped the intersection here at Powell Road. It doesn't have the big drops that it used to have. I'll not be heading back to this McDonald's again to shoot video, but I definitely will make quite a few stops for coffee in the morning. Next, we'll head a little bit south of McDonald's on Signature Drive, and then over on Clay Drain Road to the VIP garage. They've started work now on the 4th and largest of the 6 buildings that are going to be the VIP garages. These are, let's call them toy garages. Let's say you have a car collection or a motorcycle collection, and you need a garage to work on them and to store them. This is the place for you. Each of the units has water and its own bathroom, making it a very convenient and comfortable place to work. At the top of the screen is the north end of the village of Richmond. We're going to rotate around a little bit so you can get a better idea of where this is actually located. The road with all the cars is Megison Road. Richmond is to the south of the VIP garages. From here you can see it's right behind the emergency department, just about. That's Clay Drain Road that runs in front of it. This is the golf cart production facility for the villages. And off in that direction is the McDonald's that we were just at. I'll put a link to the VIP Garage website in the comments section of this video. We'll move to the south now, down to Magnolia Plaza, where the new 7-Eleven is being built. I'm still digging, but I haven't found any insight yet on when they expect to open up this 7-Eleven. Whenever it is, it won't be soon enough for the folks that live in this area. The price of gas up here is ridiculous unless you want to run all the way up to the 7-Eleven north of the Lofts or all the way over to the Circle K that's at Lake Deaton Plaza. The open field at the top of the screen is where CVS is going to be built. Still no word yet on when they're going to start construction on that building. The rate of construction at the last 7-Eleven is any indication of how long this one is going to take. I would expect to see this open sometime around mid-March. I was actually a little surprised when I saw where they put these tanks so close to the canopy where the pumps are going to be. It's going to make it a little difficult to get in and out when they're getting fuel deliveries. Let's take half a minute now to hear a word from one of my sponsors, Magic Stairs. Probably one of the neatest products I've seen built locally. Let's face it, we're not as young as we once were. Climbing those old-fashioned attic stairs to get the Christmas decorations down or to stow those family treasures is just too dangerous. Magic Stairs is the safer alternative. Real steps with safety rails at a safer angle and safety rails in the attic provide the safest attic access available. Having troubles getting things to and from the attic? The Magic Attic Lift can be there to help. Designed by Village's resident Ron Berner, every Magic Stairs and Magic Attic Lift is custom built in their Ocala, Florida factory and installed by their technicians. Why take chances? For less than the cost of one emergency room visit, you can have Magic Stairs installed in your home. Magic Stairs, the safer, more convenient alternative. Let's head back towards the north to the area just north of the Pinellas Shopping Center. This is the area on the north side of 466A. For the last year and a half, they've been building these townhouses, and now they're building these. These are 5-story apartment buildings. There's going to be a total of 6 of them built. That's a lot of homes. That's a lot of people living here. All total, there's going to be over 2,000 residents in this area. And if you remember back to 2015 or 2016, I don't remember exactly which it was, the Villages wanted to build here. They wanted to put in an executive course and 800 residents. Well, we definitely exceeded that number. Of course, the reason Wildwood didn't want the Villages, it didn't meet their specifications for trees and sidewalks. That's what the mayor said. I don't see a whole lot of trees left in this area anymore, folks. There used to be a lot of trees, but not anymore. I'll rotate around slowly and you can see all this residential area. Again, here's the townhouses. And as we rotate to the left a little bit more, there's the Hilton Home 2 Suites. Some more townhouses coming around. And then we start seeing the Beaumont development up at the very top. We'll get back to that in just a minute. Here we go. This is the Beaumont development, all these houses. The third phase, this street right in front of us, has just started. So this is nearing build-out. Maybe another year or two. And we keep rotating around. Still lots of homes. And now we come up to Powell Road in the distance across the top. And back to those apartments. Now we're at the apartment complex called the Wilds. The Wilds are located just behind Lowe's on 466A. What you're seeing here is Phase 2. Phase 2 is another 200 apartments. In the background is Phase 1. That was the first 200 apartments. So a grand total of 400 apartments. Behind it is the village of Tamarind Grove, and to the right of it is the village of St. James. We rotate around, we'll get another look. There's the Beaumont development. And there's the apartments off in the distance. The Hilton Home 2 Suites. And there's Lowe's right in front of us, the big white building. This all empties out at the traffic light between the Circle K and Aldi. Let's move back to the south again to where they're building the extension of Buena Vista Blvd to intersect with Megison. This is the intersection of Buena Vista and State Route 44. They've got the new traffic lights working. They've resurfaced. It looks really good. It's a much nicer intersection. Here we can see the roadway. One of 2 traffic circles that they've decided to put in. Nice straight run of road. Goes down to yet another traffic circle. and then it hangs right, and we go over a couple of small bridges, over some submerged wetlands. This is actually not the village is building this road. This is the county is building this road, and the purpose of it is to relieve some of the pressure at the intersection of Magnolia and 44, because there was too much traffic going in there, so the state said, no, you got to have two intersections, two places for the traffic to dump out. We roll around a little bit, and we see where there's another section of the village of Richmond that's going to be built here soon. This will be a set of probably designer homes and courtyard villas.
It wouldn't make sense if you turned on something in one room and it turned on everywhere else. That's exactly how traditional cooling and heating systems work. So you pay more than you should. But Mitsubishi Electric Systems give you a better way, with no waste and lower energy bills. Control temperatures precisely in one or every room with no new ductwork. Mitsubishi Electric Cooling and Heating. Make yourself comfortable.
We're going to stay in this general area and move down to the village of Richmond. The southern part of it, we'll take a quick fly around it. We'll start off here by the Richmond Pitch and Putt course. It's a little slow today, but it's been busy the entire time since it's opened. This was shot on a late Saturday afternoon, so things are kind of quieted down. While I was here, I met one of the guys from the village's media group, Joel. He and I talked for about 15 minutes, traded some feedback on each other's work. So now we're going to go down this way. Here's something new I'm trying. I'm trying to put some street names in here. I'm still working on the technique. I'm not sure I like it, but I'd like your feedback. Tell me what you think when you see these street names and some of the other items, how I'm placing them. I know sometimes they get a little bouncy. That's the tools I'm using. They're not very effective at this point, but I'll keep working on it. So here's that nice set of ponds. Very nice here with a walking path that goes all the way back into the woods and comes back. And we rotate around and we have the Richmond recreation area and the dog park that's there. It's actually quite a popular dog park already. Rotate around some more and we'll head back towards the south again. As you can see, there's a whole lot of wetlands here. There's well over 100 acres that they left intact. Personally, I'm not a big fan of these wetland-fronted houses. The trees look nice right now, but remember, this is all protected area. It's all going to grow. What I do like, though, is these houses on these retention ponds, and then the retention ponds back up to the wetlands area. You get your view, you get a water view, much nicer. We're going to come over here to the Okahumpka recreation area. You can see they still have the boom up. I'm going to go into this in just a minute. But if you look down into the water, you can see it's already starting to have a bunch of vegetation growing in there. I'll fly around just a little bit more, get a nice view of this whole area, and then we'll head on back and land. Since it's finally open, I decided I'd do a quick walkthrough of the Okahumpka Recreation Center. No, this wasn't the drone flying in and out of the building. This was actually a GoPro camera. As I understand it, Okahumpka is supposed to be themed after a lakeside lodge. As we go in, we see that the furnishings and the decorating is, as usual, first class, absolutely gorgeous inside. It's always a pleasure to walk into these rec centers. They're so well done.
Looking for that perfect Murphy bed for your bonus room? Look no further. We offer three things: best quality, best service, best warranty in the industry, bar none. Give us a call, set up an appointment. 612-598-3303, murphyoffice.com.
We'll take a look through some of the rooms. This is one of the game rooms. They've got some tabletop shuffleboard, whatever that is. Some darts in here. And something I thought that was pretty cool. Video games. Right out of my era as a teenager. Next, we'll take a quick trip through the kitchen here in this recreation center. Speaking of teenagers, when I was talking to Joel, he happened to mention when he graduated from high school, 2020. Man, did I feel old. I moved to the Villages when I was 53 years old, and always felt like one of the younger people around here. Well, not anymore. I definitely feel old when I see these young kids these days. This is the large gathering room at the Okahumpka Recreation Center. Obviously, the key feature in this room is all the large windows to give you a nice view outside. Moving on, we come to the last major room in the Okahumpka Recreation Center, the Arts and Craft Room. They've got sinks in here for use, for painting, cleanup, and things like that, and a couple of potting wheels. Very nice. One of the things this rec center doesn't have that most do, it doesn't have any pool tables. The other village recreation centers have them. I guess this just reflects a changing taste in entertainment. Okay, it's time to go outside and look around. This recreation center has a nice screened-in porch. This is going to be very popular in the summer months. Trust me, I've been in this area taking pictures of houses during the summer months. The bugs are horrendous on the lake. So that's going to be a very popular area. Again, more nice decorations here in Okahumpka Recreation Center. They've got this nice big beautiful boardwalk. We're going to take a walk out on it in just a minute. Of course, we have a bunch of nice chairs sitting underneath the porch. Back in this area where you see the backhoe, a restaurant is going to be built.
It was so nice to meet you. It was great. And it was great because Haven really loved it. Yeah.
It's fun going for a golf cart ride up here at Lake Okahumpka. Haven likes it.
It's different than Colorado. We like it better.
That was a couple of nice folks I met. Of course, I saw their golden retriever and I had to stop and say hello. We have checkers out here outside. And we're going to take a quick walk down to the end of this little boardwalk. We'll speed things up. And of course, this is a very nice view sitting out here. Right now, the water looks very nice. But you can see the plant growth already coming back. As you can see, it's right below the surface and it's coming in quick. This lake is only between 10 and 12, maybe 15 feet at its deepest, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. We'll go back down this boardwalk again. We'll go out to the other part where they have the boat launch. The last section of the boardwalk out by the boat ramp isn't quite finished yet. Of course, out here they've got a nice big sign with all the rules and warning notices and all that. You know what? There's too many gators and snakes here. Anything that crawls on its belly and has teeth, not something I want to be near. I think I'm going to pass on this one. Again, this is the area where they're going to build the Harry and the Natives Bar and Grill restaurant. Even though I'm not a big fan of some of the reptilian inhabitants around this area, this is still an absolutely gorgeous recreation center. Look at this view. How gorgeous can this be? There is one thing I want to warn you about. Don't let your kids climb on these cables. They are not very strong. I think this was a pretty idea, but I don't think it's very functional. I don't think it's very strong. I think they're going to have a lot of problems with down the road. Let's head south down to Sawgrass Grove and take a look at what's going on there. If you remember in my last video, I made a comment about these folks parking on the grass. Well, I got a lot of feedback on it, and most of it was in agreement with me. We shouldn't be parking there. Of course, there were some that disagreed with me, and some of the comments I got were downright ugly and nasty. I deleted all those. You can see here's the parking lot that is almost empty, but people were still parking on the grass. Of course, I got some comments that said, well, it was due to a bad design. Well, it's not. The parking here is actually closer than it is in most of the town squares because you don't have to walk around the back side of the buildings. Of course, there was also the comment, well, it's because there's not enough parking. If there's an event at a Zell, at the same time there's a good band, well, that's not happened yet. But yet people are still parking here. And there were several comments that the villages should fix this. That would not be the developer. That would be the residents through your maintenance assessment that would have to pay for this. No, this is just laziness, folks. If people continue to park in this area, by spring it'll be nothing more than a mud hole. The only thing that will probably fix this is peer pressure. But let's move on. Now let's go down to the village of Newell and Lake Denham. This is our path that we're going to fly. This is the Mickey Lee and Jubilee courses. They're nearly ready to open. As you can see, there are lots of houses going in Newell. This was shot about a week ago, and I can tell you right now, everything has changed since then. I just can't get up in the air fast enough anymore to keep track of all these. Something interesting I've seen in the last couple of weeks, the custom-built homes are now also using the tilt wall construction method, as well as the standard CMU block wall construction method that they've been using for years. These villas are now up for sale. Most of the custom-build lots here in the village of Newell are already sold. There's about 20 of them left down by the Franklin Recreation Center. But just beyond that, in the village of Lake Denham, there's a huge number of lots now available. And I looked at the prices just now, and most of them are $50,000, $60,000 or less, and many of those are waterfront lots. If you're building one of these custom homes in the village of Newell, or maybe even Lake Denham, and you need somebody to watch it for you, take pictures, and report back to you on how the progress is going on a regular basis, go to my website, goldwingnut.com. I offer several different packages, and between now and January 15th, I'll take 10% off of your total package price if you're building in the village of Newell or Lake Denham.
Hi, I'm Jeff Monash with Village Air Filters. Are you tired of wasting money on throwaway paper air filters? I can save you money with my lifetime permanent washable air filters. Just buy it once and never buy another air filter again. Rinse it out and then just slide it right back in. My filters are custom made in the US and they have a lifetime warranty. Give me a call at 352-388-1230 or visit my website at villageairfilters.com.
We're flying over the village of Lake Denham now, and as you can see, they're getting the roads laid out. It won't be too much longer till they'll be putting asphalt down. They've already got a lot of curbing up. Off in the distance at the top of the screen is the village of Dabney. Along the upper right side of the screen is the properties that the village has recently purchased, another 550 acres, and a significant portion of this is scheduled to be commercial properties. Here you can see Lake Denham, and beyond it in the background is Lake Harris. Surrounding Lake Denham is a huge area of wetlands and forests that will probably never be developed. We'll head north again now towards the village of Newell, and we'll take a quick look at the Franklin Recreation Center and the work going on it. This is going to be the last of the construction videos that I do this year. My wife and I are going to take a little hiatus and take off for the holidays, but I will be back after the New Year's to do more videos for you. Don't leave yet, there's still more to go with Middleton and Eastport coming up. We'll come back in now to the Mickey Lee and Jubilee golf courses. We're going to come a little bit lower this time. and we're going to circle around and take a look at the Franklin Recreation Center. The little bit of stutter you see in the flight right now is I had to stop and reposition myself so I could continue to see the drone while it was in the air. Since the last video, they've made a tremendous amount of progress on the pool for the Franklin Recreation Center. In the last video, I don't believe there was even a sign of this pool being built yet. Normally, we would see a pool at each mail station and at the village recreation centers. In this case, we've got 2 mail centers and the Franklin Recreation Center all co-located, so there's only one pool being built. One of the things I've noticed in the last couple of years is that the village recreation centers and the neighborhood recreation centers or postal stations aren't the same cookie cutter designs that they were north of 44, where all of them were pretty much the same. Now each one is kind of unique and has its own character. I think it says a lot for the change that's going on here in the villages. Just beyond the Franklin Recreation Center, you'll see these signs. Please heed them. Don't go in the construction area. It's just too dangerous. Newell and Lake Denham, and head on over to Eastport. This will be our flight path around the Eastport area. One of the things that's happened recently is that the villages has filed for the Eastport CDD to be formed. So looking at the Eastport CDD, we need to compare it to what the villages has put out previously. So we're going to go over to the archive for Continuing the Dream. It's archive, and this is the address up here. thevillages.com/what's-new/continuing-the-dream/archive. We want to take a look at the April edition. We'll click on it. And we have this. Let's blow it up just a little bit. Now, when we start making the comparison, the first thing we see is right here, these 2 big chunks taken out. That's these 2 pieces of property right here and right here. What they are, I'm not 100% sure yet. One thing we do know is that things here in the villages can be very fluid until everything is finalized, and this is no exception. This plan for these 2 buildings has changed twice now, and this shows it basically as not commercial property because the Eastport CDD is commercial properties. So maybe a recreation amenity, I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. The other things we see, this big chunk right here, well, that's this right here, the recreation area. This is the Olympia Recreation Center. Here's the ball fields. Here's the ball fields here. You can see that the island is present on both. This tongue sticking out here to the left is the hotel, and it all lines up pretty good. Here's this little bump down here. It matches up with this bump over here on the walking path around this little retention pond. Starting off at the north end, we'll fly over the Woodlands Golf Course. You can see the retention ponds are being dug in here, as well as the streets being laid out for much of the residential area. We should see the underground utilities going in right after the new year in this area. Yes, that's the Coleman prison in the upper right-hand corner. And no, the Villages is not buying the prison. I know there's so many rumors of that flying around, it's crazy. It just doesn't make economic sense. It would cost way too much and there'd be no profit in it after they tried to destroy those buildings and haul them away. They're also not buying the mines south of the village of Finney. But none of that means they've finished acquiring properties to continue to expand the villages. Work continues on the lake for the dragon boat racing. Work on the island for the grandstands also continues. Here again, I would expect to see the utilities going in the spring, and by summertime we should start to see some of the foundations going in for all the buildings that will make up the Eastport commercial area. As we fly over this area, keep a sharp eye on the ground, and you can see the outlines of the parking lots and islands in the parking lot and the roadways that are being cut in preparation for the construction work. At the top of the screen is where the hotel is going. And here we can see the 1 kilometer lake once again. I'll spin around now so you can get another look at the area south of Eastport. And you can see once again large retention ponds being built. You know, I can remember just 2 or 3 years ago when this was all just pasture land, and it was hard to imagine what was going in. Now we got a pretty good picture of what's coming to this area of the Villages, and there's still at least another 20 years of growth for the Villages coming. Hey, and don't forget about my gift card giveaway. The first person to tell me what this number means wins a $50 gift card from FMK Restaurants. From Eastport, we'll go a little bit to the southwest to Middleton. This is our flight path for Middleton. Keep hanging in there. This is the last area I'm covering for this video. This is the family residential area of Middleton. You can see that the lots are all laid out, and it won't be much longer until they start laying in utilities and start home construction. Here's another of the huge retention ponds that they're building. Some of these are in excess of a mile long. This is the K-8 school complex. This is more of the family area. And we're coming up now on the high school. As I understand it, the current plan is to turn the current high school into another middle school, and therefore increasing the overall school capacity for the Villages even more. They've started on the fields for the softball and baseball field, as well as the football field. I'll slide around sideways. You can get a look at the grandstands for the new football stadium. And we'll follow Landstone Boulevard, the green road beneath us, to the north. This is Dr. Randy McDaniel Way that goes in front of the high school. And as we go a little farther north, we come back up on Southern Parkway. I'll spin around and we'll get another look at the front of the high school. Quite an impressive facility. There's lots of work going on in this area, but one thing I noticed as I was flying is it's coming up right here. There it is. That's the first commercial building for the shopping area and downtown area of Middleton. They've started building it, so this is going to start happening very quickly. Remember, in less than 9 months, they intend to have the schools operational and houses built and people living in them, and part of the downtown done. Well, I want to thank you all for watching my video. I'm coming up on the end. Please be sure to support my sponsors as they support me each and every time I make one of these videos, helping me cover all the costs necessary to do it. Thanks once again. I'm Don Wiley. Have a good day.